If you've been feeling lonely and confused lately, you're not alone. And I've actually found a reason for this, and it has to do with the raising of consciousness and the development of the ego. And I just recently watched a 7.5 hour series about the 9 stages of ego development, and it made everything so clear because most of the people are still inside the conception of the world being a materialistic place, and that an object is solid and it's something that just stays the way it is. But once your mind starts to develop and raise your consciousness, you start to understand things like everything is energy, everything is just perspective, and all problems are just like problems from one point of view and not problems from another point of view. And basically, the end point is that you become one with source. So this dualistic world ends and your kind of ego transcends, and you get into the oneness. I'm not there, and I don't I don't pretend to be enlightened or anything like that, but the point I'm at is where I understand that the whole society and government and religions and these structures, they are just built to keep up the illusion of certain levels of the ego's development. And once you understand this, and I'll link the full episodes from actualize.org down in the description so you can check it out for yourself. But once you understand that you go cross over from the matrix and you kind of go into this hippie mode, that's essentially what it is, like the 6th stage of the ego development. This is when you start questioning everything. You start questioning your own values, your own existence, your own beliefs, and everything that has been taught to you. And this journey, I've been on it for quite some time already, like 10, 15 years. And I start to understand that a lot of people are confused and lonely, and they feel like an outsider compared to all their friends and families who are still in this belief that the life is a kind of objective thing, and you're born and then you are this flesh and bones, and then when you die you just disappear or something like that. Once you question everything on the fundamental levels, people think that you're crazy. People think that, okay, that's like you're gone. And a lot of people, when they start questioning things and they tell these things to other people, they get the label of being crazy, and that might actually trigger this craziness, because if you aren't strong enough and brave enough to kind of go with your own instincts and intuitions and what you seem is right, then there's a real danger. But I guess nowadays with the internet, there's so many people experiencing this that you can really easily find support and kind of like-minded people who you can talk to about these things. And in this phase, when you question everything, it's easy to go into this mode of being like, yeah, just love everything. We don't need boundaries. We don't need any structures or hierarchies or anything like that, but the level I'm at the moment is I understand that we need some kind of structure, and we need all of the ego levels, and we need all kinds of people. We need children, we need teens, we need like 20-year-olds who are just out there to experiment. The problem is when the adults who have a certain set of beliefs, and they may be religious, they may have this structural thinking that it's like, okay, what the news says is truth, and what the doctor says is the ultimate truth, and that's how everything goes, and also science is their holy kind of thing. That's the ultimate law. But science is also just a thing that humans have invented. It's a tool to measure stuff, and there is something behind science also. There's mystical experiences, there's all kinds of stuff if you are willing to open up your mind to it. And this isn't something that is just like acceptable universally and in most countries, because most countries still work from this level of ego and level of awareness that is just very simplistic, and anything that threatens that worldview and belief system, it needs to be shut out. It needs to be kind of, that's the demon, that's like evil, or that's woo-woo. Because if they would accept the possibility that there is something else, there's some magic, there is something that you can't see or measure, that would mean that their whole fundamental structure for their belief system and their lives and everything they have learned would start to crumble away. And that's why their ego protects them and shuts out any possibility for expansion. And it's really interesting. And in the 70s, there was a big thing with the hippies, and they came up with the idea of these lower level ego developed people are squares, because they are so kind of strict. They're not open-minded. They are so narrow-minded with their own beliefs and views, because that's what keeps them safe. And the funny thing is that the thing that keeps them safe is fear-based. So they actually live in constant fear. And they block out any magic, anything that is like, that could be very beneficial for their own life. So this is like, it's the biggest paradox, that they're not willing to allow in new information and new insights because they're afraid, but they don't understand that they make these decisions based on fear. And I've shown the level of consciousness and how it has to do with feelings before, and the lower levels of consciousness is directly attached to negative feelings and sadness and fear and all these kind of bad feelings. But people are so addicted to them because the society is built around them. It's like built around this school system and the whole work system, and you get this paycheck, and that's made up. It's not how animals live. It's not normal, but for the people inside of that system, it's the only thing keeping them alive. And stepping out of that would take a lot of courage. And on this level of consciousness, courage, I think it's at 200 or 250, that's the kind of gatekeeper for actually starting to feel this higher level of emotion and higher level of consciousness. like joy, excitement, and it's such a paradox. And I just want to share this with you, that it's sometimes really lonely when you take that step of being courageous and kind of knowing that there's something better for you, but your surroundings are still like keeping themselves stuck because they say it's safe, but that safety is fear-based thinking. So if you've already made the jump and being courageous and kind of gone into the unknown and be like questioning stuff and thinking for yourself and listening to yourself, on this level you start to kind of find your intuition, you start to meditate, you start to find an inner voice, you start to understand that your ideas aren't necessarily your ideas. You can step out of it and start witnessing your ideas, and you can be like, but who is the one witnessing the ideas if it's not me? And then you kind of realize, like, whoa, you get a totally new perspective of life, and you see that you are not your feelings, you are not your ideas, you are the one who observes it, and that changes the whole game. But people who are stuck in the rational and they kind of overthink everything and everything needs to be logical, I've been there, I know this very well, and it's like anything that isn't logical, you kind of say like, okay, I don't believe that because it just doesn't make any sense. Once I had the courage to let go of the logical and be like, wow, maybe if I just trust the unknown, maybe if I go there, maybe if I make the jump, there's going to be something better. And there is, because that's kind of a freedom. You start to become more free because you understand that you've been in this cage, you kept yourself in this cage with your beliefs and all the things that has been programmed in your mind since you were a kid. And this is where the fun begins. And actually, I think everyone needs help with this. And I understood after watching this whole ego development series that I want to be a guide and someone who helps people who already has taken that jump, who's been on the fence of like, this isn't, like, there's something wrong here, but I don't know why and what, and I just kind of need to step out of the system and question things. That's what I'm here for. And it's all about your limiting beliefs, because the thing that keeps you in this kind of square that the hippies said is your belief system. It's like, you have to have a job, you have to go with the society, you have to be a certain kind of human. Once you realize that, oh shit, those are beliefs, and even like religions, like, you wouldn't be religious if you weren't born into a family or a society where that's the programming they give you. If you were born on the other side of the world, you would probably have a different religion. And this is very difficult to understand for some people, especially those who are really strong believer of one certain religion. I think all religions have great messages, and you can kind of see once you step out of it that there's a lot of similarities and there's a lot of messaging, but there's also a lot of kind of modern influence to keep people stuck and to keep them to a certain religion. And I don't think that was ever the point with any religion. I think religion is here to empower the individual, because once we find the power within, we don't give out our power to external sources like the government or anything like this, because the only thing that fuels the government or like society, this hierarchical society at the moment, is that the people give their power away. They give their kind of own choices and things. They outsource it to the system that they're built in. And I think once you are courageous enough to step out of this, it's when the interesting parts of life starts again. And a lot of people also work towards this matrix dream, and they work towards this job and all kind of material possessions, and then they realize it's not what makes them fulfilled, because they might have done it totally different, like totally wrong way. And once you start doing things that you feel is helpful and that you do from your heart, it's totally different. And that's why I don't care to go to a job and do that kind of job, because I know that I can spread these messages and help people becoming more aware and more lovable towards themselves. Because actually, when you think about it, all of the development that happens only when you start loving yourself. But that's also kind of a demonized thing to say that you love yourself, because it's kind of like that's selfish. But actually, it's the least selfish thing, because once you start loving yourself and treating yourself better, you start acting better towards everyone. And if you are open-minded enough, you understand that we are all the same energy and we are all from the same source. So loving yourself means that you love everyone else. And if you hate everyone else, you actually hate yourself. So it's this concept of so below, so above, or how it goes. So yeah, that's just my ideas about this ego development. And I think you will benefit immensely just researching this and try to be open-minded and see what comes up, because it has helped me. And if you are someone who wanna kind of talk about this, I'll leave a link down below where you can schedule a quick meeting, and we'll see how we take it from there. But yeah, check out the episodes from actualize.org, and I'll see you in another video. My name is Mitz. Please subscribe to my channel if you find this helpful. Like this video, it will help me spread this message. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.